Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be showing you how to install and configure DWM on Arch Linux. First thing we're going to do is log in and connect to the internet. Now, you're going to be logging in to your user account using the username and the password that you set during the installation process. And to connect to the internet, the first thing you're going to want to do is run IP link to get the name of your networking interface, which is always going to be entry number 2. Now, the name of your interface depends on what type of interface you have, whether it's a wired networking interface or a wireless, wired being Ethernet. In most cases, for the Ethernet interface is going to be ENP0S3, which in my case it is. So I'm going to go ahead and type sudo IP link set ENP0S3 or whatever your interface name is, followed by up, to ensure that the interface is up and running. If you have an Ethernet connection, the next thing you can do is run sudo dhcpcd. If you have a wireless connection, you're going to run the command above, but instead replacing it with your wireless interface name, which in most cases will be WLAN 0, or in other cases it will be WLO1. And then after you run that, you're going to run iwctl --passphrase, followed by your network password, station, your interface name, which can either be WLAN 0 or WLO1, connect, and then your Wi-Fi, ESSID, or network name. Once you run that through, you're going to type sudo dhcpcd, hit enter, and then to ensure we have an active connection, we're going to ping google.com. And as you see, we have an active connection. So I'm going to clear the screen really quick. You can do that with Control and L, or alternatively you can just type clear and press enter. But Control L is much faster. So anyways, before we get into pulling things down from Suckless's Git repository, there's going to be a few packages we're going to need. Those packages are going to be installed with sudo pacman-s, and the packages we need are everything from the xorg group, xorg-exinit. Then we're going to want to grab the everything from the base devel group, and then the git package. You're just going to press enter a couple of times, and you're going to wait for these packages to install. Depending on hardware and network speed, it could take anywhere from, I believe, 1 to 2 minutes. Usually it'll take about 1.5 minutes. If you have a really fast connection, it'll take less than a minute. In my case, it's being a bit slow today. But no worries. If you get any errors pertaining to mirrors, just wait it out. Don't cancel the procedure, because then you'll have half downloaded packages, and then you'll run into dependency hell really quickly, and that's not fun to deal with. So once those packages are installed, we're going to start pulling stuff down from Suckless's Git repository using git clone https://git.suckless.org/ the first thing we're going to pull down is DWM. And what is it yelling at me this time for? Hold on, I gotta do it and figure out why it's yelling at me. Just give me a second. Everything does not want to work the first time, so just ignore those last 2 steps there. I'm gonna there we go. Git clone, there we go, now it's working. Now, depending on your network speed, again, that can take a little bit, so just be patient, don't cancel it, because then you have to rmrf the directory. Okay, the next thing we're going to pull down from Suckless's Git repository is going to be dmenu. Then the final thing we need to pull down from their Git repository is st. Optionally, you can also pull down scroll, which allows st to have scroll back, but you don't really need that and just yet. We'll worry about that during the customization phase, as well as SOS status. I'll mention that. Even though I've already done a video on that, I'll still mention it again because it is technically going to be part of DWM, so might as well mention it. Come on. Yeah, sometimes you'll get this where the network randomly slows down for no reason. That's usually just a server problem. Just wait it out and eventually it will finish. In my case, it's going to want to drag its ass very, very slowly, which is not a fun thing to deal with. Now, I'm going to do a separate tutorial on how to use Rofi with DWM after we do the main installation here. Actually, you know what, I'll just incorporate that into this video for those of you who want to know how to use Rofi with dmenu, because it's a bit, the procedure's not the most user-friendly thing, but I'll explain it anyways for those of you who want to know. So after you're done pulling all those things down from GitHub, well, not GitHub, Suckless's Git repository, you're going to cd into the DWM directory. The first thing, the only file we're going to edit for now is going to be the config.def.h file. To edit the file, you would run vim config.def.h, or if you're using nano config.def.h, or if you're using emacs config.def.h. Or whatever the name of your editor is, just put it before config.def.h. Anyways, the first thing I always do is change the font sizes. The font sizes are always going to be right at the beginning of the file, where you're going to see the, most likely it's going to say monospace size equals 10. I always change the size to 14. I leave the monospace, the font type alone, since I like the monospace. If you want to, you can not do that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on. Let's not do that this time. I don't even know what the hell I just did, but ignore that. So I always just leave it to monospace since I like it. If you want, you can change it to, I think there's some other fonts in the other fonts you can use. I can't really name any other ones off the top of my head, but I just changed the font size to 14 point. And then I go to the key definition section. I edit the first line where it says define mod key mod 1 mask. I changed the 1 to 4. Starting to forget things now. I'm going to explain something really quick about mod keys. So mod 1 is always going to be the left alt key, and in most cases, well, I should say the mod 4 key is the super key, which that key is, the mapping of that key depends on the hardware you're using. If you're using a PC, it's going to be the Windows key. If you're using a Mac, that's going to be the command key, I believe. Mac users, correct me if I am wrong there. But if you're using Linux with a Chromebook, it's going to be the search key. So now that that's been explained, we're going to worry about changing some keyboard shortcuts. The only ones that I change are the ones pertaining to spawning a terminal and the zoom function. So what I'm going to do is the second shortcut here, we're going to change this one from mod key shift mask xk_return, or mod key or super shift enter. I'm just going to change that to super enter. And then there's going to be another super enter here. We're going to change that one to super shift enter. Obviously, your mod key is going to be referenced in the file by the name mod key. Next to mod key, you're going to put a pipe, a capital S. You're going to type shift mask with a capital S and capital M. Then we're just going to fix the formatting here. And those are the only things you need to change in the file. From here, you can save and quit, and then run sudo make clean install. And then we're going to cd out of this directory after the make install is finished running by typing cd space period period. And then we're going to cd into the dmenu directory. Again, we're going to edit the config.def.h. And we're going to change the font size from 10 to 14. Which again, the font size is the font and font size are going to be in this line where my cursor is. And then what I always do is I scroll down and I change the amount of lines, which is going to be a line right here. The line that says static unsigned int lines equals 0. I always change that to lines equal 20. Then we're going to save and quit out of that, run another sudo make clean install, if I can speak today. There we go. Then we're going to cd out of the dmenu directory, and then once we're back in the home directory, we're going to cd into the st directory. And just like we did with DWM and dmenu, we're going to edit the config.def.h file again. Down here, what you're going to do is just change the default zooming shortcuts, which for zoom in, by default, it's going to be Control Shift and page up. For zooming in is Control Shift page up, and zooming out is going to be Control Shift page down. We're going to change that to Control Shift plus and Control Shift underscore. By going down to the first edit we're going to make is to the line that says term mod, comma, xk underscore prior. We're going to change prior to plus, and we're going to fix the formatting here. And then we're going to go down one line and change the word next to underscore, which is going to be shift and then the hyphen key. And we're going to fix the formatting one more time. We're going to save and quit and then run a sudo make install or sudo make clean install. You can use either or, it doesn't really matter. I just prefer using clean install, so it makes finding certain files a lot easier. Then after that, you're going to cd out of the st directory. Then you're going to create another file. You're going to create a new file titled .exinit.rc by typing the name of your text editor followed by .exinit.rc. Then the only line you need to put in this file is exec space dwm. Then you're going to save that file. And then the next file, the last file we're going to have to edit for now is going to be the bash profile, which is going to be under the file name .bash underscore profile. Then we're going to add 2 lines in here, one empty line, and then the second line is going to be, the only thing that's going to be in the second line is going to be start X, and then we're going to save the document, and then we're going to press Control D to log out, and then we're going to log back in, and if everything was done right, we'll be thrown into DWM. I should probably mention here is where I'm going to mention some shortcuts, but you're going to also want to install some sort of font package because the default fonts look terrible. So the shortcuts I'm going to mention really quick are just going to be the ones you need to know just to navigate around DWM. Super Enter opens a terminal. Super Shift C closes a window. Super and then the number keys changes the workspace. Super Shift Q is going to quit the window manager, which we're going to be doing in a second just to reload the font package. You're going to open a terminal. And then you're going to type sudo pacman-s GNU free fonts. That's GNU hyphen free hyphen fonts. And press enter a couple of times to install that. You're going to close the window with Super Shift C and quit the window manager with Super Shift Q. Log out with Control D, log back in just to make sure the fonts are set properly. There we go. We're gonna zoom in. We're gonna open another terminal, zoom in with Control Shift and plus. We're gonna CD into the D menu directory, and we're going to install. Well, we're only CDing into the D menu directory here, just because we're gonna be doing something in it shortly. You're going to install a web browser of your choice. That can either be Firefox, Qt browser, Midori, Chromium, Brave, whatever you want to install. You can install that. In my case, I'm just going to install Chromium. Now, we're just going to wait for Chromium to install here. If you want, you can use Chromium too, but you don't have to follow each one of my instructions 110% to the T, just the important ones, which I will mention soon. Now, if you're having resolution problems, that can be fixed by running xrender to grab your display name. In my case, it's virtual1. To change the resolution, you're going to type xrender --output followed by your display name. In my case, virtual1, virtual-1 --mode, and then the target resolution you want to go for. In this case, I'm going to make it 1360 by 768. I'm going to drag the window here and reframe this in my recording software here so the screen isn't cut off. I'm just going to clear the screen with Control now. I'm going to switch workspaces. You're going to want to go to workspace number 2. And to launch D menu, you're going to use Super P. Then you're going to type the name of your browser, whether it's Chromium, Firefox, whatever. Then you're going to go to the following URL, tools.suckless.org/dmenu/patches. You're going to want to download 2 patches here, the center patch and the border patch. Now, I want to explain something really quick here. Don't install, for the center patch, don't download dmenu-center-4.8. That's an older version. Download the one below it. You're going to right click it, save link as, and we're going to name this, we have a bit of a problem. We got to resize this window here. There we go. I always name it center.diff, and I make sure to save it in the D menu directory. There we go. And then you're going to navigate to the border patch page here. You're going to scroll down under this download section. Under the second download section, you're going to right click the first link. You're going to save link as, and you're going to save this as border.diff, and you're going to make sure to save that in the D menu directory. And then after you're done with those 2 patches, you can quit out of the web browser and go back to workspace 1 with Super and 1. Now, To verify that those files are in fact in the right directory, you're going to run ls, and if you see border.diff and center.diff, oops, that's not what I wanted to pop up, then this next step can be done. If not, you just have to check where the hell you saved those files and under what name you saved them as, but provided you follow my instructions, they're going to be in the dmenu directory. Now to patch dmenu, we're going to type patch, then you're going to want the, I think that's the less than symbol, center.diff. You should apply the center patch first. You always apply the center patch before the border patch, otherwise you can't recompile dmenu, because it'll start spouting nonsense at you. Then you're going to run the same command, but instead of center.diff, it's going to be border.diff. Then we're going to type sudo, the name of your text editor, followed by config.h. And there's going to be a couple things we have to change here. I don't know why it didn't add those lines in there. Now, the lines that are supposed to be added in there, why are they not there? Hold on, I have to do some digging. And again, bear with me here. I'm going to go here. Now, the first thing I'm going to cover are the lines necessary for the center patch. You're going to navigate back to the page for the center patch. You're going to click the second link on that page, on the second link under the download section. Let me just Control plus, we'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. Now, you're going to copy these two lines here. These two lines right here. You're going to copy those and bring them into this file. You can insert, you can copy paste lines. So what the hell just happened? Oof, hold on. Let me do that again. This time without screwing up. You can copy paste you can paste those lines in with Control Shift and V. And the one thing I would change, let me just verify that I put those in the right spot, and I did not. Hold on, give me a minute here. I haven't used DWM in a while, so please excuse me for making some mistakes here. Okay, here we go. Here's where we want to put them. You're going to want to put them right here. Gonna put that there. Also, one thing. Make sure you remove the plus signs out of these lines here, otherwise the compiler is going to spit errors at you and you're going to have no idea what the hell to change. Now, I always change this second line here where it says 0, I change that to 1. Now, for the border patch, you're going to add a line here. We're going to navigate to the page where the border patch is. We're going to go at, why is scrolling so laggy here? Hold on. What is going on with my scrolling here? Let me reload the page. Hold on 1 second. It's being weird today. Oh, there we go. How come scrolling with the scroll wheel is broken here? Alright, there we go. You're going to go down to the second download section, left click the first link there. You're going to look for, hold on, I have to find the line since it doesn't automatically put that line in. Ah, here we go. This is the line you're going to want to copy paste into the file. This one right here. I'll wait here for a second for you guys to copy that in. Then we're going to paste that line in under the very last line on the file. Obviously, you're going to want to remove the plus sign. Once you paste it in, you're going to change the 0 to 5. And then you're going to save the document and run a sudo make clean install. And with that, you should have a centered D menu. It should look like Rofi a little bit now. We're going to clear the screen again, and there's going to be 2 shortcuts I mentioned really quickly before we move on to the other customization bit. To change your layout, you would do Super F for floating. To resize a window, you would hold Super and right click and just drag the mouse there. To move a window, hold Super and left click and then drag the window over to where you want it to be. To switch back to the tiling layout, you're going to press Super and T. Okay, now we're going to CD out of the D menu directory, getting back into our home directory. And we're going to pull down 2 things from the suckless git repository. We're going to be pulling down scroll and SL status. But first I'm going to pull down SL status because I'll get into scroll a little bit later. So you pull down SL status by typing in git clone https git.suckless.org/SL status. There we go. Just wait for that to clone there. Then you're going to CD into the SL status directory. And you're going to edit the config.def.h file right here. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice here is this nice little table of functions, descriptions, and arguments. These are going to be important because for any of these things you want to add in to the status bar, you're going to want to pay attention to syntax and formatting. So in the case of CPU percentage, it would be CPU_perk, and then the argument would be null. I'll show you how it's formatted really quickly right now. You go to the bottom of the file and add a couple of lines before the final bracket and semicolon. We're going to tab over once in the first new line. You're gonna put a opening curly bracket, a space, and then CPU_perk. This is if you want CPU percentage in your status bar. You don't have to put this in, but this is just here for those of you who do want it. Comma, space, and then here's where formatting matters. You're gonna do space, opening quote, pipe, CPU in all caps, colon, space, %s, %. Now %s just displays a number, and %% displays the % symbol. And then you're going to do pipe, space, quotation, closing quotation, comma, no, space, closing curly bracket, comma. Now I want to mention one quick thing here. We're going to change the date and time format. But before we do that, we're going to put a space between the %t and the quotation marks just so it's spaced out inside the status bar. Now here, you're going to do %r. You're going to change the second format here from %T to %lowercase r. Then the first format, you're going to change from %F to %lowercase m / %lowercase d / uppercase Y. This is for the month, day, year format. If you want the year before the month and day, you just put the year. You would do Y percent capital Y slash percent lowercase m slash percent lowercase d. And if you want to change this to a 24-hour clock, that would be percent capital R. But in my case, I want a 12-hour clock, so percent lowercase r for that. Now you're going to notice there's going to be a lot of functions here. Some of these pertain to RAM, to displaying RAM usage, CPU usage. There's a few for network, for the network speed here. And if you wanted to display your username, you have that here. Uptime, that's right here. And for Wi-Fi percent and ESSID, they both have their own function here. Now from here, you can either just leave it with date and time, which is really all you need, or you can go all out and start adding stuff into the file. I'm just going to show you what I add. The next thing I always add into the file would be RAM percentage, which is going to be using the RAM perk function. Then the way I would format this is within the quotations I would do pipe RAM colon again percent s percent pipe space, and I put a space between the closing pipe and the quotation marks just to indicate a space in the status bar. And then again, the argument for this would be null. We'll get into, you'll be seeing some different arguments here in a second. And after that, I always put the Wi-Fi ESSID, which the function for that is Wi-Fi underscore ESSID, all in lowercase, and then you're going to put a comma, then a space, opening quotations, pipe, opening quotations, and then here's where the format changes. We're going to do percent s space closing quotation, comma, and then the arguments change here as well. Now, I should probably mention, depending on your interface name, you're going to have to put your interface name here. Again, to grab that, I'm going to switch to a different workspace here. You would run IP link. And the second entry here is going to be your network interface name. In my case, it's ENP0S3. So I'm going to put that in here in quotations. And make sure you're using curly brackets to house these commands and not regular brackets, because you're going to have a bunch of errors otherwise. And now the two other commands I always put in are network net speed underscore tx. That's for the upload speed. And wait, tx is upload. I'm starting to forget stuff now. And then the format for this is going to be pipe up colon space and percent s percent lowercase s. Make sure with the CPU and RAM percentage, when you're doing percent s, it's percent lowercase s. Same thing with the Wi-Fi ESSID, otherwise you're going to have a completely different result. And now, pipe space closing quotation, and then the interface name in quotes, which again in my case is ENP0S3. And then I always put the network download speed, which is referenced in this file as net speed underscore RX. And what the hell's going on here? Why can't I scroll down? Alright, whatever. So you would put net speed underscore RX, comma, you would put a set of quotations, and inside of that you would do pipe down, pipe the word down obviously, and hold on, let me change this because I'd rather that not be all in uppercase there. Down space %s, and then a closing pipe. Make here you don't need the space between the the pipe and the quotation here, since this is going to be the last thing that shows up in the status bar. Just keep that in mind. If you want spacing in your status bar, if you want to space the items in your status bar, you would put between the last character in the format, you would put the amount of, you would space the, you would how would I say this? You would press space however many times you would like. That would obviously space it that many characters to the right or left, depending on where you put it. So I want to explain something really quick. If you put something above date time, of course it's going to be showing up to the far left of the status bar, and anything below it's going to be showing up to the right of it. And then let me get back to the network RX. That's going to be, the argument is going to be the network name, network name, network interface name. Can I remember everything? So once you're done making all your edits, you're going to save the file and then run sudo make clean install. Oops, come on, can I type today? And to launch SL status, you would do super P and then type SL status and press enter, and you'll see right up here you have your date, time, CPU, and RAM percentage, and no network name, strangely. I don't know why that is, but you can always change everything by going into the config.h file and appending certain things, or if you want, you can add a couple of, you can either add or remove things. In this case, I am going to be taking this out since I'm in the VM and this line is meaningless. Now, so make install. Make sure every time you recompile SL status that you kill the process using htop, which you can install with sudo pacman-s htop, and then to enter htop you would just type htop, press enter. Now you can, I guess, consider this a short tutorial on how to use htop. To search for a process, you would press F3 and then type the name of the process, in this case SL status, F9 to kill the process, and then F10 to quit. And all the key commands here are listed at the bottom of htop. If you want to explore and mess around with htop, you can, but I'm just going to relaunch SL status here, and there you go. You have everything there. Oh, and I completely forgot that Control-Shift-Q quits out of the window manager. I'm still used to i3's shortcuts. Okay. Uh-oh, we have a problem. xrandr -- output virtual what the hell? Oh, come on. There we go. I keep forgetting it's Super Shift C to close the windows in DWM. I gotta start getting used to certain key bindings being different between window managers. Now, I'm going to talk about setting wallpapers. To set a wallpaper, you're going to need two things. You're going to want to install nitrogen and GNOME backgrounds. That would be GNOME-backgrounds. Can I type today? There we go. You're going to install those packages, and then you're going to, once those finish, you're going to launch nitrogen like so. And then when you get into nitrogen, you'll be greeted by a blank screen followed by some options on the bottom. You're going to click Preferences, then Add, and go to your file system here. Navigate to USR, Share, Backgrounds, GNOME, click Select, and then OK. Then select the wallpaper you want. Make sure you change the scaling from automatic to scaled, because otherwise it looks dumb. The automatic scaling option is broken in nitrogen. It just doesn't work like it should. And just like that, why the hell did it not set the wallpaper? Hold on. I could swear that I clicked apply. Make sure you click apply, otherwise it won't apply the wallpaper. There we go. Now we have a wallpaper, a status bar, and there you go. And that's how I set up DWM. And again, I'm going to show you how the different... Now, I'm going to really quick show you how you can indicate which window layout you're in. Or I should say which layout you're in. If you're in the master and stack layout, which is going to be the default tiling layout, it's going to show right next to the number 9 here. Oops, I did not want to click out of that. To an opening and closing bracket followed by an equal sign. If you're in the floating layout, it's going to be greater than, less than, then greater than sign again. And to resize a window, that's going to be holding super and then right click. To move a window, it's super and left click. To go back to tiling mode, it's super and T. And again, to close a window, super, shift, and C. So, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.